What if I dropped a bombshell on you and said there was something even worse?
Okay, Iris, come on. What could be more messed up than burning people, cutting off people's limbs, raping and pillaging?
Well, as you know, pretty much not all, but most cultures out there agree that we should keep our hands off children. And check this out. As brutal as Islam is towards adults, it's downright horrific when it comes to children, especially little girls. Now, let's delve into the subject of this video, the most disgusting verse in the Quran, which is chapter 65, verse 4. It states, "And those women from among you who have despaired of further menstruation, meaning of old age, if you are in doubt, meaning that covers pretty much every other possibility, then the iddah is 3 months, as well as of those who have not yet menstruated, meaning they are young girls, meaning prepubescent girls." Remember what I said earlier, that this iddah is only applicable to those whom you've had sexual relations with? In this Quranic verse, it is clearly saying that those who have not yet menstruated, because they're too young, their iddah is also 3 months. This Quranic verse essentially allows you to marry and have sex with prepubescent girls. This religion legitimizes what we commonly call Then it makes me laugh when I see naive Christians and Muslims joining forces against this woke madness of sexualizing children. If you're so against the wokes for sexualizing children, then you should also be against Islam, which allows child marriage. Christians, okay, it makes sense, but Muslims? Their prophet, the founder of Islam, the greatest man who ever lived, the man whose character is to be emulated by every Muslim, did just that.
Okay, Iris, I get it. This is so bad, and it's hard to imagine anyone defending it. Surely there must be Muslims decent enough who have counter-arguments to this disgusting practice.
Yes, unlike Muslim apologists, I am intellectually honest, so I will give you their counter-arguments too. Any Muslim who is against has to reject this Quranic verse. But since it's a literal word of Allah, you can't discard a single word out of it. Otherwise, you will be labeled a kafir. So, modern yet decent Muslims find a way around it, which is, if you can't change the verse, then change the meaning of the verse. Since this verse is very embarrassing, Muslims who understand this argument hide behind the Arabic language and say the word yet is superficially inserted in this verse by perverted scholars who want to marry little girls. Then the question arises, who is the Quran talking about here? As well, of those who have not menstruated. The Quran has already spoken about women who do not menstruate of old age. There is one more category left, such as women who just don't menstruate because of some sort of an illness, like amenorrhea. This one. So let's look at the language argument. A vast majority of native Arabic speakers, as well as those who have learned the Arabic language, say that the Quran here is talking about girls who have not menstruated yet because of young age, i.e. prepubescent girls. Let's look at some of the classical Islamic scholars, as well as modern ones. Respected classical scholars like Ibn Kathir, Al-Jalalain, and many more confirm that the Quran here is referring to prepubescent girls. Contemporary scholars like Madudi, Taqi Usmani, Muhammad al-Mirza, etc., and there are tons more, all agree that the Quran here is talking about prepubescent girls. And who can forget our very own Muhammad Hijab, who also says that the Quran allows you to consummate your marriage with prepubescent girls.
If you look just at the Quran, you will get the indication that you can have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. The reason why it's haram to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old is not found in the Quran at all. If you just read the Quran, it is halal, it would be halal to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old.
According to Muhammad Hijab, a native Arabic speaker, and someone who is quite knowledgeable about Islam, you cannot stop someone from marrying and consummating his marriage with a prepubescent girl. But yes, you'll find some contemporary Muslim scholars who do say that the Quran here is talking about women who do not menstruate due to an illness, and not because of young age. So there are 2 points to that. One, the greatest book written by the greatest author of all time, Allah, was so unclear that it left Muslims not understanding what Allah meant. So, to conclude, the lipstick Muslims have simply changed the meaning of the Quran, while the orthodox Muslims have put the hadith above the Quran. Either way, this verse is clear that the Quran allows men to consummate their marriage with pre-pubescent girls. Yeah, absolutely disgusting.